Hi, everybody. Emar Supper to another edition of the original Free Kick previewing Atlanta United's upcoming contest against DC United. As always, you want to follow everything that we're doing. Head to the mothership to sportsinquirer.net to get all of the information that you need in the world of sports. You can also go to our social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Search under Sports Inquirer. You'll find us, follow us, like us, and you'll be up to date on everything that we have going on. You also go to our audio and video content providers on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and iTunes. Just search the Sports Inquirer and go from there, and you'll see everything that we have going on. All right, previewing tomorrow's contest against the DC United for Atlanta United. The Five Stripes are on a nice streak right now. Three consecutive wins, four-match unbeaten streak, and that continued on August 18th with a 1-0 home victory over Toronto FC. Here's interim Rob Valentino on Atlanta earning the victory.
Look, in this league, it's important to win games like that. For me, it's important that you win at home. I told them before the game, I think you have to win at home. We've got a lot of home games, and we got to continue to win at home. It's important to the fans. It's important to us. I think you have to make this place as close to what it was before. People will get scared to come here. I mean, that's kind of what I said to them after. Is like, look, a win's a win. I appreciate their efforts, and I probably don't say that enough because they sacrifice their bodies. They go out there and they perform to the best of their abilities, and there's no one out there tossing it off. So I appreciate the sacrifice they put on their bodies day in, day out, the injuries they play through, the heartache they take. I really appreciate that, and that's what I stressed to them tonight after, because I'll take responsibility when things I feel like I've done wrong. So if that was reflected anything of me, I'll take that responsibility. But I also just want to make sure they're appreciated, because that ain't easy going on the Sunday and then I get on the Wednesday, and now they got to think about going for another game. But the win's a win, and it's important for this group, and it's important for the club at the moment.
And it was a low-scoring affair. In the first half, Atlanta scored a lone goal of the contest in the 20th minute with Ezequiel Barco. Brooks Lennon was able to send a long ball down the right side of the field. Barco was able to retrieve the ball just inside of the 18-yard box. He gathered the ball, and I don't know if it wasn't if he attempted this type of shot, but it ended up being a chip shot, or that was deflected by Eric Zavaleta, who was defending Barco. The ball deflected off of him, off his foot, and it was able to go past the Toronto goalkeeper on the top left corner of the net for the strike. At first, when we were watching it live, it looked like there wasn't a deflection. It looked like it was one of the better chip shots that you'll ever see. But still, credit to Barco, put the ball on net and was able to get the goal. But here's Rob Valentino on setting up that type of goal with their offensive approach, which included a lot of long balls.
Sure. I mean, when I watch it back, I'll look to see. I feel like I thought that in the LA game, and then the next thing I know is I watched a few actions, and like, there was some guys trying to run him behind. Maybe they weren't getting the ball, and then eventually they stopped doing it. We spoke about it. We've talked about different areas that we could try to get him behind, especially early. Like I told you guys last week, it was like, for me, as silly as it sounds, and there's movement with it, but it's a ball over the top. That's what got us a goal again. It's a ball over the top. And I'm not here to play pretty soccer all the time, but it needs to be effective and direct and attack-minded and go. And I think, again, that's where the goal comes from tonight. That's where the goal came from the other day. At times, there's time and place to play in space and play inside, but if you stretch them early, then hopefully the space opens up a little more. In the first half, I just thought we could have been better with that. It was a little bit too slow, and again, I'll watch it back, and it was stressed to run him behind, but maybe I need to be more specific on when or how, or I can't fault their efforts.
Yeah, and that goal was Barco's fourth of the season, and he's been on a tear, scoring multiple goals during this unbeaten streak since he's returned from his stint with Argentina in the Olympics. Here's Barco on that goal.
Difícil fue la jugada de tu gol. Sí, bueno, fue una jugada bastante rápida que yo ya había hablado con Brook de que iba a haber mucho espacio a la espalda de los centrales, pero bueno, por suerte pudo terminar en gol y ganar, que fue lo importante.
There was a pass that went to Brooks, and we were able to get it behind the center backs, and luckily he's able to just get it to me and able to score the goal.
And it was the fourth assist of the season for Lennon, who now has a team high 4 in this 2021 campaign. Here's Lennon on that assist to Barco.
Yeah, I spoke with Barco specifically and also Joseph before the game. And it was part of the scouting report that they were going to, leave some space in behind. We've watched a lot of their games, and they've conceded chances from balls over the top and in behind. So as soon as Barco took off and made that run, I knew I had to play him because he was going to be wide open. So I was glad to connect with him and happy that he was able to get the goal.
Atlanta attempted 21 shots in the contest, which was second most on the season, only trailing 22 shots that they took at Cincinnati on July 21st. And Valentino installed an offensive-based lineup with Marcelino Moreno, Joseph Martinez, the new acquisition Luiz Araujo, and Barco, all playing at the same time. Here's Valentino on having those 4 offensive-minded players on the field at the same time.
I thought in the first half, way it started, I thought, okay, here we go. We're gonna get some actions here, and I thought there could have been a little more. I'm not faulting them. I just think that we got to figure out the best way to get them on the pitch, because that was my idea, is that how can we get all these attackers to have a relationship on the field, to feel comfortable having little combinations and having the freedoms in certain spaces, or who checks in certain spaces, who runs beyond. And some of those guys already got it. Marcelino, Barco, Joseph, they've played together for a little bit. And you add Luiz in it, and I thought it was good at times, and it'll be a work in progress.
Yeah, you look at the rest of the offensive stats from the contest. Atlanta did lead in shots on target 4-3, led in possession with 57% of the ball. And once again, this is a statistic that they continue to lead. I don't think there's been a contest this season, well, they may have had 1 or 2, that they haven't led in passing accuracy. But the majority of the contests, even in their losses, they've been doing that. And against Toronto, they completed 88% of their passes, which was more than the 85% completed by Toronto. As I mentioned, with that offensive lineup, that included a new acquisition, the Brazilian Luiz Araujo. And this was his first contest for Atlanta United. The designated player arrived with the team last week and has been able to get some practices in, and all the paperwork cleared with his visa and all of those other things with the MLS office. So he was able to play for the first time as the new designated player for Atlanta. Here is Valentino on Araujo's debut.
Yeah, he was good. I thought he had a couple good actions. It's good to mix him in the group. I thought, for his first game, I'm sure there's a lot of different things going through his head. So to introduce him to the fans and he introduces himself to the fans and shows what he's about. You could see some quality in the attack, and he works in the defending part as well. And he's just got to continue, progressing and working the group. He's a quality player, and they all are. So they mix in with each other really well, and I thought he did all right tonight.
And here's Brooks Lennon on playing with his new midfielder teammate.
Rest of the season.
Very excited. I think he's a bright talent to add to the group. He showed his qualities tonight in spurts. Early on, I thought he was very good. Beating players one-on-one. I think his first touch was immaculate. So we're really excited to have him in the team, and hopefully he can push forward and get some goals for us and assists.
A big thing with this winning streak that they've done as well with Atlanta is switch the back line. They were playing with 4 defenders under Gabriel Heinze, and even very early in the tenure of Rob Valentino. But with some changes and adjustments, they have really stuck with a 3-man defense unit of Alan Franco, Miles Robinson, and Anton Walks, along with wingers George Bello and Brooks Lennon, really playing a 2-way position. Especially you see, obviously, Lennon assisted on the goal. We see Bello doing a lot of activity as well with the offense. So I call it a 5-man back line, but really it's in essence 3 with 2 wingers kind of floating back and forth. But I asked Rob Valentino directly on what led to this change of using this backline system.
We've tried a lot of different things in terms of film. We've not had a lot of training hours, so it's been difficult. We really try to be creative in how we approach the team in terms of information, whether it's opposition, whether it's ourselves. the back line, I think, has done really well. I thought, going, miles away to start when I ended up taking over. And so we didn't have the option to play him. So at the time, I thought what we were going with at the moment was that back four, and the players that were playing in front were fine. And then as we get players back, you just try to figure out what it makes you more dangerous, or what you feel the team will benefit more from. My personal thoughts of being attack minded and being aggressive going forward will leave you open at times, and so you need to make sure you have the cover and you have enough defenders back. Not everyone can go forward. So that was kind of what led to us thinking about keeping more of a back five at times, or if we have three and the wing backs are attacking, and we can add more numbers that way. So
Yeah, and here is Bello on playing within this new system.
Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty easy. I mean, because I feel like our team, we played it before, so I don't think it's really anything too new for us. And me individually, it's not too much different than left back, because obviously I like to attack, but then there's also a defensive aspect of it. So just getting up and down the line is something that I'm kind of used to now. So I wouldn't say it was really too hard to get into the groove of it, and I feel like it's really working out for us, and hopefully it keeps working out for us.
Yeah, well, last thing for me on that, how do you adjust with that? Is it just more film sessions? Are you able to work on it on the field or practice because you got such a limited amount of time, or do you just try to adjust on the fly during actual matches?
It's a little bit of both, because obviously after every game, go over the film, see what we did right, see the things that we did wrong, and then fix those things. And also, I mean, like you said, these games are coming really fast, so it's just really trying to learn things on the fly, and as each game comes, getting better with the formation. So I would say it's a little bit of both.
And besides the emergence of Barco, Bello has been a player that has really found a lot of success in this new system. And he's found confidence as well playing for his international team with the United States in their Gold Cup winning campaign earlier this summer. Here is Valentino on Bello's performance with the team.
I think it fits him naturally as his abilities. He likes to get forward. He's quick. He's aggressive. It puts him in good attacking areas, and he's starting to understand how he can combine with others and how he can get in behind. End product is always something that we preach to him, whether it's the final pass, across, or he's in the shooting range. Can he add to that? And then he's a defender as well, so he's got to work back to defend. And at times when he's been in those defending roles, he's done really well against, in my opinion, top attackers in this league. When the attackers from Toronto put some of their top ones in, he was good. I thought even when he tired out, he was good. In LAFC, he's done well. He's done well with his opportunities in the national team. So I think he's matured as a player. He's done well. I think he does well in this system, playing as an attack-minded wingback, but he can also defend as well.
Yeah, and also you got to look at the midfielders with what they're doing with Santiago Sosa and Amar Sejdic and their role within the system. And I was able to speak with Amar about the role of the midfielder in this new system. Here's what he had to say.
When you look at it, we're playing with a back five, yes, but we're definitely encouraging the wingers to kind of stay a little bit higher and wider, so then it's more of a back three. So from the midfielder perspective, you're just kind of linking the two. I think it's important for like the number 6, Santi, and myself being an 8, that you kind of are able to distribute between the back three and let's say the front three. You have our wing backs that keep the width for us, and then of course you got guys like Barco and Moreno who are able to take players on 1v1 and kind of add that to our style of play. So while on paper it might look like a back five, it's essentially we're playing with 3, and then of course the midfielders are just kind of connecting everyone else together.
So he really serves more as the conduit between this defensive back, that 3-man back line, and getting the ball forward to all of those 4 attackers that we mentioned earlier. Him and Sosa have done a very good job with it. Now, Sosa did pick up a knock in that contest against Toronto, so we don't know about his availability for tomorrow's contest on August 21st against DC United. Now, DC United is coming off of a 3-2 road loss at New England on August 18th. They lost on the road. Now, Paul Areola and Ramon Abila did score goals in that contest for DC United. And DC United does have one of the leading goal scorers in all of Major League Soccer, in Ola Kamara. He leads the team with 11 goals scored this season. So here is Rob Valentino facing DC United and defending that offensive attack, specifically Kamara.
I think in terms of this game for DC, like they're very good in transition. That's going to be a difficult one in terms of how they like to attack, direct, and to try to get in behind early and really try to force the issue there with intense pressure. So I'm sure they'll be really ready to go. They've had the same string of games, but they've been on the road, and the results haven't gone their way. Although the score lines aren't indicative of the game from what I've seen, and that coach has got a really good style of play that they're all bought in, and they seem like they're trending in a really good direction. But in terms of the last few games, the results haven't gone their way, so we hope that we can take advantage of that. But I mean, they've got multiple pieces that you got to contain and be aware of. And the other part of it for me is that we continue to progress in a direction that we think is appropriate, and we talk about the realistic objectives of where we can put ourselves in terms of the league, and also getting Gonzalo off to a good start and a fresh start.
And if you look at the standings, Atlanta sits in 9th place in the Eastern Conference, only 3 points behind DC United and a spot in the playoffs. We did this show a few weeks ago. Atlanta was sitting near the bottom of the Eastern Conference standings. Now, they're still in the bottom half technically, but they were way further down than they are now. But this unbeaten streak has pushed them into a pretty solid position, all things considered. Here is Bello on the team's playoff push as they head towards the back half of the regular season.
Seriously, so I wouldn't say this is any different. We're just going to keep the winning streak going, no matter what team it is. And yeah, the 3 points ahead of us, but I mean, we're just looking at it as another game. We need to go in and win. We have good form right now, so we're looking forward to just keep it going and just getting these wins to get into that playoff spot. But yeah, like I said, I don't think it adds any more or any less. We're just going to keep playing how we're playing and then go over there to get the win.
Yeah, finally, this will probably be the last match for interim manager Rob Valentino as the lead man for Atlanta. Permanent manager Gonzalo Pineda, he should be in the house with in DC for Atlanta's contest. And I'm not breaking any new news here. It's been public information. He contracted COVID-19 and protocols. We all know, if you're listening to the show, we all know what goes on with that. But he has been in communication with the team and going over strategies and trying to do as much as he can. But he has not been face-to-face with his Atlanta United new players and assistant coaches and all of that stuff. This will be, we assume, the end of Valentino's time with Atlanta United because there is an all-star break coming up. And by the time that ends, Pineda will be asserted into the main position. But Valentino has steadied the ship for Atlanta in a major way, has got him on this unbeaten streak and done a very good job. But I asked George Bello about this coaching change and how the team is handling it with their respected assistant in Valentino being promoted to the interim manager, doing so well, and now having to bring in an outsider, in essence, while the team is playing so well. So here is what Bello had to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's part of soccer. I feel like things change rapidly in this sport. So, I mean, it's just how we adapt to it. And obviously, yeah, Coach Rob is a great guy, great coach, even better person. But yeah, we have a new coach coming in, and we're all excited. We're all on board. We're just going to keep playing how we're playing, and we're just going to be positive no matter what it may be. And we're in good form right now, so just having a great addition like Coach Pineda is going to be even better. So we're looking forward to it. And I don't have anything negative to say about how we're going to be moving forward. I know, like, with this team, like, we have a lot of talent, and I really trust in everyone on this team. So I'm really excited to see what the future holds.
Yeah, and that concludes the original Free Kick previewing Atlanta United's upcoming contest against DC United. Make sure you go to all of those social media platforms and our audio and video content providers to keep track of all we have going on.